BlackBerry, new film from director and actor Matt Johnson, who also appears in the film, with the main stars Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. The film tells the story of the company behind BlackBerry, the essentially first widely popular smartphone in the world, which dominated the business world until the iPhone came along. The story in the film starts in 1996 when the company led by Jay Baruchel, the nerdy tech CEO and founder, tried to find clients and investors for their prototype phone in order to sort of save the company from going bust. Glenn Howerton's character, this cutthroat business guy, hears their awful pitch, thinks nothing of it, but when he loses his regular job, he decides to give these guys a chance to get into business with them and sort of help them run their company, because he realizes that while they are tech geniuses and tech wizards who can achieve a lot, they have absolutely zero idea how to sell it, and that's when he can step in. So the film sounds like standard fare corporate rise and fall story, like so many we've had already in theaters and on streaming. Even this year with Tetris coming along a couple months back on Apple TV Plus, they're all kind of the same. And BlackBerry by now is not a popular brand by any means as well, which these two factors I think can explain why the film did horribly in theaters in Canada and the US. And that, I think, is a real shame, because it's actually really, really good. And yes, the bare bones of the movie are pretty similar to what we've seen elsewhere, but where BlackBerry shines is in execution, and three areas of it specifically. Number one, the performances. Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton are both amazing. They play off each other very, very well, and their character dynamic doesn't exactly go the way I would expect it to. I think, in this aspect, the movie is somewhat original. And then in regards to Glenn Howerton, this is the first time I've seen him outside of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And as much as I enjoy his work there, I was afraid that he wouldn't be able to shake that character, Dennis, from that show, and he would just do more of the same. I was wondering if he would be capable of doing something else. And yes, some of the tools he uses are kind of roughly similar, but it is a very different character at the end of the day, and he's doing a very good job with it. Also, the supporting cast is pretty great, and the way some of the character interactions and the humor from them play out is very entertaining. Secondly, the cinematography. The movie is shot almost like a sort of guerrilla documentary at times, with handheld camera often moving around, zooming in and out of conversations, being not exactly fluid but rather jittery and somewhat impatient. Coupled with the grainy texture of film, it really looks amazing. And then number three, which sort of ties into this, is the pacing. The movie has a feel to it that it's constantly tense, constantly on the move. Like there's a permeating feeling of an approaching deadline, for lack of a better expression, that there is a sense of urgency in it, which is built up mainly by the cinematography and the music as well. I love the score and the soundtrack, very good use of especially Someday by The Strokes in one of the scenes. Great humor here and there, especially in the first act, which I found genuinely hilarious. But also a really somewhat dramatic and poignant final act as well, which means that even when you realize the end is approaching and you expect what that end is going to play out like, you're still on the edge of your seat. I like this film way more than I expected I would. It's very engaging and entertaining, both as a pure story and as a piece of filmmaking. I do recommend checking it out despite its underwhelming popularity. It is well worth the time.